The recorders are on.
Okay. This is a great group. Thank you for joining us for the East Aurora Village Board meeting for February 2nd, 2026. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I get a board attendance, please?
Trustee Lazikis.
Here.
Trustee Cameron. Here. Trustee Vijay. Here. Trustee Flynn. Trustee Raby.
Here.
Trustee Shear.
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for January 20, 2026?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment for February 2nd, 2026 abstract 2025-2026 fiscal year for a total of $156,455?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, this is our first Speakers in Communications. It's open to any topic. We would ask if you're here to speak on something that is part of a public hearing, meaning the Knox Mansion or the solid waste law changes, please, you will get a chance to speak during those, so save your comments until those public hearings. If you want to speak on any other topic, this is your first opportunity. There'll be another open session at the end of the meeting. So if you got anything, raise your hand. Let me know. Come on up and introduce yourself and tell us what your issue is. All right. First Speakers in Communications is closed. Moving on to public hearings. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing at 7:03 p.m. to consider an application for 270 Buffalo Road, Knox Mansion, as part of Stonegate, to consider making it a local landmark?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The public hearing is now open. Liz, do you want to speak on this first, or should we go right to Mary Ann?
Maybe Mary Ann?
Mary Ann, you want to start us out?
The village law for designating a local historic landmark is Code 156. And we have had this in place since the late 1980s. And we have designated about a dozen local landmarks. We also have about a half dozen National Register listings. The criteria for designating of a local landmark is that the structure possesses special character, historic or aesthetic interest, or value as part of the cultural, political, economic, or social history of the locality, region, state, or nation. And we know that the building and the grounds have been part of the fabric of East Aurora since it was constructed approximately 1916. Is part of the social history. The gardens of the mansion were recognized nationally. The second criteria is identified with historic personages. Henry Knox, the owner of the mansion, with his brother Seymour, were instrumental in changing the retail face of the United States with their 5 and dime stores. Number 3 embodies the distinguishing characteristics of an architectural style. The building, which is largely intact, is in the style that is called Italian Renaissance Revival. It is beautiful. It was restored in the early 1990s, late 1980s, when the property was purchased and developed as part of a condominium association. It is the work of a designer whose work has significantly influenced in age. The architect, Edgar Eugene Jorlison, was very well known in Buffalo. He was part of the Peace Bridge Commission. He designed several Carnegie libraries. He was very active in Niagara Falls. His buildings and schools were known for their very solid and comforting appearance. And number 5, because of its unique location or singular physical appearance, represents an established and familiar visual feature of the neighborhood. So many people have memories of going through the property, ice skating on the pond, of enjoying walking through the property there. It is the 2 mansions, part of the Knox family legacy in the East Aurora area. The building also fits the unofficial criteria of being older than 50 years. For all these reasons, the Historic Preservation Commission really feels that the Henry Knox Mansion, also known as Knox Hill, Stonegate Mansion, is worthy of local preservation.
So, it's owned now by, what, 87 residents of Stonegate?
I do not know the exact legal terminology. It is owned by a condominium association. I do not know exactly what that entails in relationship to that building.
And I guess my question is, did they put it forward for historical significance, or is it something that the HBC has taken on themselves to do? I know we talked about the historic section of, historic Main Street. One of my big concerns was I didn't want to force it on anybody, right? We didn't want to make them do something they didn't want to do. So I guess that's my question. Is this coming from the HBC? Is it coming from the condo board, or is it coming from the condo residents?
A resident came to the HPC meeting, all this is in our minutes, and expressed concern that the Board of Managers was contemplating tearing down the Stonegate Mansion. And that would put into a chain of events, whereas the HPC took existing material and put through the local landmark process.
So if
And then subsequently, other people have come forward and said that they do not want to see the Stonegate Mansion demolished.
Right. Is that the only way to keep it from getting demolished? If it's over than 50 years, would the HBC have to weigh in on whether it even could be demolished as a historic
We would.
building?
Currently, or
Currently.
only if it,
Currently, the way the law is written, any structure over than 50 years, if there's a demolition permit, I don't know quite the right word, drawn up, submitted, it comes to the HPC to approve or to comment upon. And I can confidently say that we would not approve a demolition permit.
Right, so Liz, legally, the HBC could say, no, we recommend it's not torn down, and then the village would actually
The
vote?
village board makes the
We have to make the
decision on the
decision.
demolition,
Yeah.
right?
And we take their recommendation.
Right. So even if the building is not designated, that process has to go through because the building is over 50 years old and over 500 square feet in size.
Right. So there's safeguards now, but if it became a historic landmark, then,
Okay, if it became a historic landmark, there are further safeguards on the building. Currently, a building that is older than 50 years, if the homeowner wanted to put an addition on the end of over 500 square feet, the HPC would not have a say in that. If they wanted to take all their windows out and board up the walls, we would not have a say in that. I'm not talking about
They could
building
board up all
codes
their windows?
or safety codes, but aesthetically, if they wanted to board up their windows on one side of the house,
Mm-hmm.
we remove the windows, we would not have a say in that,
currently.
currently.
And if there was a designation, you then would have a say in that.
Okay? If there is a designation, then that structure, when there is outside repairs or renovations that would normally pull a building permit, the HPC would review the action and then issue what is called a certificate of appropriateness. For example, if somebody had two double-hung windows side by side in a 1910 house, and they wanted to replace that with a picture window, and the building was designated, we would work with the homeowner to understand that a picture window is not an appropriate fenestration for a 1912 house.
So I'm just looking at it from the individual resident's point of view, right? They're paying a certain amount, I'm sure, in a fee to keep up this building.
And they would continue to pay a
They
fee to
consider
keep
it
up the
a fee.
building.
But if it's a historically designated building and it needs a new roof,
If it
right?
needs a new roof, if, for example, it was a slate roof, we would not require the folks to put in another slate roof, which is extremely costly.
That's what I'm wondering. Are their repairs going to be more costly if it's historic?
Their
versus-
repairs, we would ask them to replace it with a roof that had the appearance of the original roof. So repairs, you repair like with like. So if the exterior of a building has a stucco finish, we would require there to be a stucco finish. We will work with people if there is an economic hardship, but that is very much dependent on the individual having done their homework. Any building of that age is going to need repairs.
What about, like, would they be able to apply for grants? As, it's a building that's owned by 87 individuals, this condo association. Would they be able to
They-
qualify for grants?
They
for-
would have to check with the State Historic Preservation Office because there is a program where individuals can apply for grants, and I don't know how it works with condominium associations. I know how it works for commercial buildings, and for individuals, we have examples of both of those within the village, but a condominium association I'm not familiar with.
So we'd have to talk to SHPO and find out how it would affect them.
And it really is, I'm surprised that the Board of Managers hasn't looked into these things.
Go ahead, Joe.
Just out of curiosity, for the homeowner tax credits, I know Clint Brown put that into the record, but I don't know if it's for this particular property. I think it was.
No, the homeowner tax credits was for Greg Hintz, and the commercial tax credits was for Carner Development. Okay, here there are 87 people. I have no idea if each one of the 87 people gets something, if there is an overarching legal entity that would get something. You'd have to speak with SHPO.
Yeah, so let me answer that generally. Actually, Mr. Mayor, would you like me to talk about condo associations? So I'm not speaking specifically about Stonegate. I don't have their paperwork. But just so you guys are aware, common interest communities, condo associations, cooperatives, entities like that, that's the broad category, common interest corporations. The difference with a condo as compared to a co-op is everyone basically has a share of a business and the right to live in a particular unit, but it's the business entity that owns everything. Condos are different because you own the space you live in, but the overall management association upon which you are a part and what you pay dues to is responsible for the common spaces. And so it's that entity, that corporate entity, that your condo board embodies, that is responsible for those. And my understanding is that it is eligible, but I'd have to get an opinion from someone who does, from a Preservation Buffalo Niagara or some other entity that does historic all day long.
So the corporation, if I'm understanding what you said, the mansion is owned by a corporation, not the individual owners?
So the individual owners,
Yes,
the common spaces are shared
yes,
by all of the individual owners, right? But you have a separate legal right to the space you live in. It's kind of separated out. So it's your space, and then it's your neighbor's space, all these little boxes, right?
Yes.
But the boxes are joined together by common elements.
yes.
a separate corporate body is responsible for all of those common elements, and then the people who are part of the overall structure all pay into that common pool. And so that common pool of capital is what keeps the condo entity operational and maintaining those common spaces and responsible for said common spaces.
So-
How about, let me just ask, I'm sorry, about the demolition itself. Would it need to be unanimous? 87 members would all have to agree?
That completely is dependent upon, hold on, folks.
No, well, they're telling you what
Yeah,
they're agreeing.
I know. So I can't give advice on that. What I can say is it depends on the written documents, and the evidence currently in the record says that 100%, I have not seen the documentation, but individuals have put on the record that they understand that it takes 100% vote in order for them to demo it, which brings other questions, but that's the answer to that.
I would like to note that a benefit of local designation is also that it shows that East Aurora is sensitive to its unique place in Western New York, having the number of designated properties that we do, that we appreciate our past. Also, because an extra level of care is being taken to repairs to a designated building, the code enforcement officer is very aware of what things are being done and sort of looks out for those buildings. If the building is not designated, there is always a possibility of demolition by neglect, in which repairs are not done in a timely manner. Things continue to deteriorate or cause great harm to the building, at which point there is a chance for demolition because it is no longer safe.
Anyone from the board have anything for Mary Ann before we take comments from the public?
Answer all my questions.
Mary Ann?
Okay.
Thank you.
Would anyone from the public like to speak on this topic? Rachel, you want to start us off? Come on up, if you could. We record all the meetings, so we need it into the microphone, please. Thanks.
I'm a supporter of historical
Oh,
preservation.
hold on one second. When people come up to talk, you're going to say your name, and then you're going to give your address.
Rachel Krajewski, 16 Church Street, or 670 Main. I'm a supporter of historical preservation. However, I strongly believe that it should be voluntary for property owners. The commission is filled with residents who want to do good things in the community, and I greatly appreciate their efforts. However, this is a responsibility and is something that should not be designated lightly. I'm speaking from personal experience. We own 3 buildings on Main Street. We chose to take on state historic designation on all 3 and local landmarking on 1 of them. So far, our upfront costs are over $100,000 in architectural consultants, attorneys, and company time to ensure compliance so that we're eligible for reimbursement through tax credits. It takes time and upfront payment that cannot always be expected or available to property owners. That is why we should all be in favor of voluntary participation in landmarking. There are also associated costs for disputes with the commission when they arise, which they do. The delay in repairs, improvements, and development can be hard financially, especially for private residential properties. Local designation does not provide financial support to owners, so if the board moves forward with this designation, one possibility to alleviate that would be for them to apply for state designation to assist in what is a very costly upkeep of the building. I encourage the board to reach out and ask the Stonegate residents if they have financial ability to start a feasibility study or pay upfront for consultation costs and wait for partial reimbursement when and if they get state designation before you vote to make them take on this local landmark. From the application submitted by the commission, they state that they do not know if the ownership is supportive of the designation. They also were the ones to submit it, not the owners. I think that's a large price tag to impose on residents without having a fulsome conversation. Do I think it'd be great because it would be a local landmark? Yes. Do I think it's irresponsible to make people take on that financial burden when they themselves did not say they want to? Absolutely. Instead of having a subcommittee to involuntarily nominate private properties for local landmark status, my suggestion is the commission could put effort into application assistance, tax rebates, and grants for historical buildings to incentivize property owners to participate in preservation. The commission would be undertaking responsible preservation practices in conjunction and cooperation with owners, along with communication and education. Ultimately, property owners should be the ones who decide if they want the responsibility and obligation that goes along with this. It should not be thrusted upon them. The only way that we are going to have a happy, healthy community is if we work in partnership and don't make people take things on that they cannot necessarily afford to do without their input. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Rachel. Sir, come on up. Mason.
Thank you. Mason Winfield, 360 Buffalo Road. I am opposed to the destruction of culture and of architecture. Oh, gotta set my stopwatch. I'm keeping this real quick out of respect for everyone's time. Test. Oh, that was suave. So, I'm going to hit this from three perspectives, El Quico. One, East Aurora, we're about 225 years old. That's it. That's as old as we are as far as the white guys. We've had 4 periods of architecture. There's the settler era, like up to about 1830. We've got a few examples of that architecture. There's the settled era. I made that up. Mid-1800s, late 1800s. Golden Age. It is the heyday of Roycroft, of Buffalo. Some really world-class architects coming to Western New York to make buildings. And by about the 1930s, we had what I call sort of the commercial era. But we've developed an interest in preservation. The Henry D. Knox estate mansion is from the Golden Age. The architect, okay, so I'm done with that. We need to preserve that. The second tactic I'm going to approach it by is the architect, E.E. Joralemon, 1858, 1937. This guy has a number of buildings in the National Historic Register. He's not a, most Americans know 3 architects, maybe Frank Lloyd Wright, you know, hopefully Richardson, hopefully Sullivan, but there was a wave of very impressive architects that were involved in the building of Buffalo, and shockingly, the building of East Aurora. We have a remarkable architectural representation here. The fact that we would let somebody tear down the work of Joralemon here in East Aurora, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it's under consideration. Lastly, the connection to the Knox family. Their automatic history. I am sympathetic to the issues of homeowner association through personal experience. I know there are grants that can be found. I would like to preserve this structure. I would like to help try to identify sources of funding. But I think also, finally, we in East Aurora, we need to realize we got a pattern. We got a pattern of tearing stuff down because somebody wants to make a little money on it, and we let them tear it down. And I just think we got to recognize we got a pattern here, and this is what we need to be facing. Under 3 minutes. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Mason.
I'm going to try and handle this. Try and handle this motion.
Mark?
You can actually just push it right in the top.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to watch it here. Got a lot of law enforcement around. I don't want to like screw up.
That's all right.
Hello, my name is Mark Kitts, and I live at 270 Buffalo Road. I live in Stonegate. I'm the only one, I think, present that's on the board here. Everything is blown pretty much out of proportion, I think. I'm sorry I have Parkinson's, so I can't communicate very well, but I'll do as best as I can. We don't necessarily want to rip the place down, but it's a money pit, and people have to understand if they want to put it on the historic registry, they're going to have to pay for it. Everybody in the place we pay enough now. You're going to be paying $800 a month for an HOA fee. I mean, it's good with me if everybody else wants it. That's fine, but that's what it'll come down to if we put it in the historic registry, because we have to fix everything that they want us to fix, more or less. But that's, I mean, the place has copper gutters and things like that. I mean, it's a great facility, and I don't want to tear it down. I'm on the board. I don't want to tear it down, but I know in the long run, something's got to be done, and nobody wants to come up with the answer. And everybody's got their own opinion, and it's very difficult for us to keep throwing money into it. And it would send with it. But it can stay, we could put a Band-Aid on it and it could stick around like it is for years. It's a well-built mansion. It's great. It really is. But it's just, something's got to be done. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Matt Oreskovic, also a resident at 270 Buffalo Road of Stonegate. I was the board president there for roughly 6 years, and to kind of go with what Mark was saying, there was a vote that was held via mail, and it was defeated, I believe 22-17 with 48 abstentions, and therefore any further thought of tearing the facility down is probably not even going to occur within vast majority of the unit owners. And with all apologies to Mr. Trapp, because I know lawyers hate gray areas, I've been through the bylaws, and you're absolutely right. There's no actual statement in there that says we all own 1/187th of it. It's semi-implied, but that's probably not going to fly in a courtroom, I can tell you that, as I'm sure you well know. I guess what I'd like to say is someone that's probably one of the longest tenured residents there. I moved in there slightly over 30 years ago. I think it's a fantastic facility. I would like to see it maintained. I would just like to see if it's possible for us as unit owners and as an HOA to work in conjunction with you and whoever else to see if there is in fact grant money available in some way, shape, or form that could help us to maintain the property. It is very costly. I mean, I went through those books. I know what the reserves look like. I know all the other expenditures that we have. As you well know, being in city government or town government, everybody's complaining about this, that, and the other thing, and you only have so much money to take care of so many things, and we're in that same situation. I'm not crying poverty here, but the facility needs upkeep, and it's going to need upgrades. If we can do that and find a way to do that in conjunction with the town and with the various organizations that the town has, I would very much welcome that, and I would like to see, I don't want to use the word compromise because it sounds like we have an adversarial relationship here, and we don't, but if there is a way that we can work together to keep this facility, get some help from outside sources. I mean, believe it or not, I was on a committee this past summer to try to decide what to do with it, and we said any crazy idea we can come up with, and mine was sell the naming rights, because I go by Highmark Stadium all the time, but I don't think anybody wants us to be calling it the Westher Mansion at Stonegate, with all due respect to Scott Beeler. So I guess that's all I would like to say. If there's some way that we can work together to somehow alleviate the financial burden that we face as unit owners there, give this the historical treatment that it deserves, I think I'd be in favor of that. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Matt. Who else? Anybody else want to speak on this?
Someone's coming up.
My name's Tom Collins. I live at 270 Buffalo Road, Unit 36. I've lived there for almost 7 years, and we love it there. It's just that the mansion, it's something that 87 of us own. We feel that way. We own it. And it just seems that it should be up to the ownership to decide if we want to become a landmark. I think that it should really go to the residents before the board decides. Because I think it was just one or two people that pushed this forward. So I just think it should be tabled until the residents can decide their future.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
that's wise, Tom.
Yeah.
But something we'll talk about.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak on this topic?
Lisa Lubazinski, 270 Buffalo Road, Unit 80. I've lived at Stonegate, it'll be 16 years come this April. I've lived in East Aurora for 35 years. I love living at Stonegate. I've enjoyed the mansion, although I have to admit, in all the time I've lived there, I've maybe only rented it 6 times. But I want to let everybody know that doesn't know, I'm one of the ones that have supported landmark status for the mansion. And the reason I did that is because I felt that, first of all, that anyone would even suggest that we demolish it and build 8 new condos was completely ridiculous and irresponsible. And we have a process here in the village of East Aurora. You know, everybody has different opinions about the way they want their community to be. Some people could care less about architecture. Some people could care less about history. You know, everybody has different preferences, and that's why we have building codes, that's why we have laws, that's why we have an HPC. And I'm happy that this has been brought to this point, because now we are finally having a discussion at Stonegate. I feel that, well, first of all, 48 people didn't even bother to vote. You know, I would really like to see our community come together and care for that building properly. And yes, it is an expense, and I'm happy that Rachel spoke very realistically about some of the requirements, but I do have more questions for her. She's talking about businesses, and what she talked about was very complicated. I don't think it has to be that complicated for us at Stonegate. I think landmark status is an honor, and I think it would help us to work in cooperation with the Historic Preservation Commission and the village, which, as you all know, this committee spent a year planning what to do with the mansion and never bothered to read the village code. I mean, I'm happy we are where we are now, and thank you for your consideration. And I do agree, I have said to you before, I'm not a fan either of giving landmark status to somebody who's not in favor of it. But I also believe that part of the reason they're not is because they don't know what it means. They don't know how it's really going to affect them. And, you know, I've heard some fear-mongering, like, oh, it's going to cost us so much money, we're not going to be able to afford to live there anymore. We'll lose our privacy. I don't want somebody else telling me how to take care of my property. I mean, that one actually makes me laugh, because why would you own a condo if you don't want other people telling you how to take care of your property? So, thank you very much for your consideration.
Very good. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I think, oh, Kurt?
I've lived in Kurt Colopy, 365 South Grove Street. I've lived in East Aurora for about 10 years now. And one of the very first times that I came to a village meeting was when the Price House was designated a local landmark. Why was it designated a landmark? And for everybody's memory, because it's 10 years is a long time, it's across the street from Pasquale's Restaurant. And right now, I believe there's a real estate firm in there and other offices in what is the Price House. And again, for anybody who doesn't recognize it, Fisher Price is sort of the heart and soul of the 20th century history of East Aurora, and still has a facility here in town where they do important work for children and try to make some money doing it too, let's admit it. But that house was designated, and the house next door to it, both of them, okay, were designated for demolition, okay, by the Squallies across the street. This is, like I say, 10 years ago. And the community came together and, against Pasquale's protest, okay, landmarked those houses, and a plan was put together where the parking that they wanted was achieved in back of those houses. So Pasquale still has an interest there and still is able to get what they wanted, which was parking, maybe not as much as they would have liked, but instead of having parking lots on Main Street, we have two historic houses, one of which is very significant, the Price House.
And Kurt, if you remember, I mean, we have Ernie Shear to thank for that, because that owner would not have done what they did if it hadn't been for Ernie pointing it out and the village acting on it, because they were doing demolition by neglect. They were okay with those buildings just wasting away.
I took a lot of heat. I took a lot of heat from certain people for doing that too.
Ernie,
because they left the windows open. They wanted to.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be walking by with my wife. We were going to a concert, and I'm like, geez, I know the lights are never on and the windows are open. And what the heck's going on with that? And I just inquired, and it was demolition by neglect. And then I went to the newspaper, the Buffalo News, and because it just didn't make any sense to me. It's it's our shtick in East Aurora, is to have a walkable community with interesting older houses, big shade trees, and what's left of them after the butchery.
It was slightly before my time. Like I say, we were brand new in the community, and we came to the village hearing about that. And again, a notable historic property important to this village was preserved because of your efforts and the board at that time. So, and again, Pasquale's didn't want to do it, but we came up with an alternative plan. They got parking for their employees, and we kept, a parking lot with lights and pavement there off of Main Street, and preserved the character of the village. So there's some precedent for, if you will, involuntary designation, okay, or involuntary by the owners. Now, I think, and I'm just imagining, and I don't live at Stonegate, so, take it as just some sort of dreamy thought, if you will, the landmark designation doesn't affect the interior of the house, it affects the exterior of the house. And granted, there's copper gutters and so on and so forth, okay, that are expensive to for upkeep, okay? But the other thing the owners, the condominium association might want to consider is how they take something that's costing them money, okay, and turn it into something that would at least pay its way, okay? And here's my little dream, if you will, take and the interior of the house, it's a very large house, okay, and essentially condominiumize the interior of the house. It pays its way it increases from 87 to, I don't know, another 6 or 8 condominiums in there that would pay their way and will relieve a lot of the burden, if not all of the burden, of the exterior upkeep of the house. So there's my just sort of imagining on how they might deal with that issue. And I certainly support landmarking that, the Stonegate Mansion.
Thanks, Kurt. Anyone else want to speak on this? Mary Ann?
I'd like to correct one misconception. Rachel Carner Development is running a business, so she pays people to fill out her paperwork. But we have homeowners that fill out their certificate of appropriateness by themselves, and it costs them nothing. So just because your building is designated as a local landmark, that is not going to cost you fees in filling out your paperwork.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Rachel?
I fill out my own forms, the fee or the cost, forms if I disagree with them on a decision they make, and then I have to pay an attorney to respond for me. So I just want to clarify that.
Thank you. It's okay. That's all right. Anybody else who hasn't spoken yet? Miss in the back? Could you?
Allowed to speak, or is it just village?
No, anybody can speak. Come on up. Just give us your name and address, please, in the microphone. We record everything. Thank you. I'll let everybody speak.
Sarah Orcutt, 206 Greenwood Drive. You can go ahead and ignore my DM, Grace, because I asked you if town members can talk. So my mother lives at Stonegate. She is hearing impaired. She is here tonight. So I have kind of an interesting perspective here. Actually, our book club meets at the mansion. So it's not just village people who enjoy it, it's town as well. I will admit I haven't been the greatest at reaching out probably to the board, which is the correct way. But even just in my dealings, I do know there's many people willing to support fundraising efforts. I own my own not-for-profit. I'm willing to throw my hat in the ring and say that I'm willing to help support fundraising for them as well. I know that there's been a resistance toward fundraising for whatever reason that I can't seem to understand. So I do thank you guys for allowing this to come forward today. I think at minimum it has created a great conversation, and hopefully we can save a wonderful building that's great for a book club if anyone is looking for a location. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I'm in favor of it receiving historic status, and hopefully we can keep it for many book clubs to enjoy for many years to come. So thank you
Sarah.
very much.
Miss.
Hi, my name's Kathy Youngs. I'm also property owner at Stonegate. I also have been fortunate enough to have worked in another Knox mansion for 20-some years. I used to work at CTG, which was located at 800 Delaware, which is now Celino's home and or offices, if you will. Obviously, I always think about the fact that there's got to be some way that not only does he have residents there, but he's also got his business there, and he's got historical support with that building, right? So I kind of wonder how that can't correlate to where we are right now, even if, again, we have to bring in another business or like she was just saying, you know, having support from other entities that use that building for their purposes, that we can't somehow keep it status-wise the way that it is. Keep it up, help get the support to keep it up. But as of right now, I look at, you know, the fact that I worked in an office. I had my own fireplace that was marble, and, you know, a desk that is still there that when I walked in, Celino said, "Oh, that was your desk." And he goes, "I'm going to get that restored." And I'm like, great, I appreciate that. But I'd like to keep stuff like that going in the mansion and not just see it demolished. I just got to figure there's got to be a way to be able to find a purpose for the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if we talked about, one of the meetings, we talked about the fact about putting additional condos in there that came up. we learned out, residents learned about this more so after the fact of all the decisions that were made, and we only got to vote on A, B, or C without any kind of looking into the historical factor that could benefit anybody. Did that make sense?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy. Anyone else want to speak on this? Anybody else? All right, I think we, just talk to the board about it. I think we still need, the village board, and it sounds like the residents too, need to do some more proper due diligence. We need to look into this as far as, how SHPO considers it, and how do they consider a condo for landmark status, grants available for condos, how it affects their bylaws as far as the unanimous voting, and really what the residents want. And hopefully between us, we can get creative and, I don't know, village buy it, whatever, get creative and figure out a sustainable way to preserve the building, because it doesn't sound like anybody wants it torn down. So we just got to figure out a sustainable way to do that. So, anything from the board want to comment before I close out the public hearing?
Yeah, I mean, Kurt brought up the condo concept, and I had thought about that too, because I was thinking about all the mansions in Buffalo on Delaware, or, the mansions that have been converted into apartments downtown, they're lovely apartments, or they do it all the time. I don't know why they couldn't do it with this particular building. They have some unique, smaller condo in that building, preserving the building and then bringing in additional income, have those units pay for the maintenance of the structure. I think that would be makes sense to me. And you could even possibly incorporate a public space within that building as well. So
I agree, and I'd like to thank everyone for showing up. I know I feel more comfortable and understand more of how the residents feel now versus a week or two ago. Also, I like the multitude of ideas that are popping up as opposed to just tearing it down, because that was my thought. And I am one of those people that skated on that pond and grew up 2 doors away. So I'm talking in the 60s. So it was and is a beautiful property, and that building is amazing. And like Ernie was saying, maybe we could expound on some of those ideas, and even maybe Airbnb type of thing, if residents don't mind people coming in for the weekend and staying in the mansion. Some type of revenue generator that would help maintain it and keep it to the level. And condos may be a much larger renovation. An Airbnb maybe is put locks on the doors and there's your common bathroom. You're good for 2 days. There you go. That would involve some management and some record keeping. So really glad people showed up. I'm available. You can get my contact information through the office here, and willing to help and kick ideas around, and would even like to attend a board meeting if I could, if you allow that, to get more ideas. Thank you.
Good.
If I can, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
All right. Folks, just because I happen to be counsel to both HPC and this board as well, anyone who has materials that they wish to submit, if you please submit them to the clerk for the record, that would be very helpful in moving the ball forward and me being able to do what I have to do on my end. So anything you want to be made as part of the record, this obviously discussion today is part of the public hearing is, but I also want to remind that everyone is also able to submit written materials for the record as well, like with any public hearing, and they could be submitted to the clerk. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:50 PM?
Motion.
Moved by Jeff, second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is closed. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing at 7:50 PM to consider a local law to amend the village code, Chapter 214, solid waste?
So moved.
Steve? Second?
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is open. Maureen's going to talk to us about garbage totes. You don't want to leave now, you're going to miss all the good stuff. Garbage totes, everybody.
They don't have garbage totes.
Oh, that's right.
So the law changes are to add the option for homeowners to purchase a tote for a dollar amount set by the board for either a garbage or a recycling or one and one at most, to add to what they have. And there are some other corrections in the law, but they aren't, nothing.
Could everybody take your conversations outside if you're talking, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's no corrections in, there are corrections in the law, but not changing any of the meaning of what we were already doing. And then the rest of it is all to add the ability for residents to buy either one additional garbage, one additional recycling, or they could get two additional, one of each.
Right, we had to change the law to add some flexibility to the totes to allow us to go outside our original contract so that we can allow the residents' ability to purchase an additional tote if they need it. There is, a handful of folks who find they need, more recycling pickup than other people do, or more garbage pickup than other folks do. So this is going to allow that flexibility.
Also, we'll be asking for you to set the fee, and the fee, I'm looking for $150 based on what we're being charged from Waste Management and getting it set up. It would have to be the owner of the property to get the totes, because if for some reason there was a problem and they weren't paying, it would have to be able to be levied on the taxes.
Thank you. Anyone want to speak on this while the public hearing's open? Very good. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:52 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is closed. Official considerations. Can I get a motion to consider approving a local law to amend the Village Code, Chapter 214, solid waste?
So move.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion?
Is that with the $150
We're
fee?
going to do the
That's gonna be separate.
fee
We're
will
gonna
be
do
a
that separate?
separate motion. Yeah, I'll ask for it afterwards. Good question, though. All right.
I'm just going to throw this out there. It probably would not be likely, but what if someone wants an additional smaller tote? We just have the additional 96. Can they get another smaller one? Maybe they don't want two huge ones.
So.
I know the idea
If
is
you
they
need
want more garbage.
If they want
but-
more, it's 96. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're not doing to the smaller ones. We just don't even have that. We don't,
Yeah.
there's a couple people who got smaller ones who had medical, major medical
Yeah.
issues, and they're not really smaller. As we've spent a lot of time explaining to people, they are just as tall and they're almost as wide. So they're smaller by that they went in a tiny, tiny bit. So it's not really helping them, especially if they need this.
It is a little more manageable than the big totes are, especially, for 90-year-olds who are having trouble. These are pretty easy to roll around.
Oh, yeah.
But the small ones are even easier, so.
A lot of people who were worried in the beginning,
Okay.
once they had it, were okay with it, so.
All right, moved by Steve, second by Jeff. Any other discussion?
So this is super minor, just formatting for my own sanity. In 214.2, the first edit with the Plaza Shopping Centers, it's one dot that, the other one is one in parentheses under B.
Hold on, I'm sorry. 215 what?
214-2A. That's the new addition there is that one, section 1 underneath it, plazas and shopping centers shall,
Okay, you want it parentheses like the other one?
Yes, please. Parentheses are what's in the later section also, so
Yep.
that aligns.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, can I get a roll call vote? Steve?
Aye.
And Kristen?
Aye.
Ernie?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Grace?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion passes. We have updated our solid waste code. Can I get a motion to consider setting the fee for the extra tote at $150 per tote per year for property owners only?
Motion.
Moved by Jeff? Second?
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you.
How are we letting folks know?
Well, we might put it out on our new Facebook account once we're all set and ready. Tomorrow, I'm going to make once this was approved, I have to make the forms for people to come fill out. If they need it, they'll have to come fill out a form. They'll have to pay for it, and then we'll need to get Waste Management to deliver them. I don't know how they're going to be delivering them, because they technically own the totes.
It'd be
I don't
nice
have
if
them.
they gave us a couple dozen, and then Jeff and the DPW can run them out to folks who need them, rather than us waiting for
Yeah.
Waste Management to decide when to get it out here.
Yeah, so
I'd
we're
rather it was under our control.
Once they did start delivering the smaller ones when requested, they did them pretty promptly, just so you're aware.
Okay.
We're still asking to get them ahead of time, if we can. It'll be easier.
And I'm sure the local papers will get it out there as well.
Oh, yeah, I'll ask.
All right, can I get a motion to consider approving a temporary use permit for Anthony Amabile 2, Riley Street Station for East Aurora St. Patrick's Party at Riley Street Station on March 21st, 2026, from 2 p.m. to midnight in their parking lot at 27 Riley Street.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion?
I know I saw the rink has the adult 3-on-3 tournament that day. Are you aware of that? I just want to make sure that we're aware for parking.
Yeah. I'll come through. Mike, okay.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anthony Mobley, 27 Riley Street. Yeah, I mean, you know, I talked to Scott about it.
Okay.
We don't really see too much of an issue. You know, it's going to, I mean, it's going to probably bring more business for us, you know?
That's true.
You know, we never really had something like this in East Aurora. I know that there's been some inquiry. People, for whatever reason, call Riley Street a Irish bar because we have Rubens and Guinness. I don't know. I don't know, but I roll with it. I mean, if people think it's an Irish bar, then sure, it could be Irish all day. I don't, you know. I grew up kind of in South Buffalo, so, you know, I worked at, you know, Charlie O'Brien's, and my parents own Mr. A's, and I'm very familiar with the concept of St. Patrick's Day. And I just think that it would kind of bring a different level of fun for village people, but also people from out of the village to kind of come and experience what we can bring to offer here. I'm kind of using this as kind of like a temporary party / deal to kind of see if we can do this furthermore in the parking lot. I'm only using half the parking lot. I did make an updated map here of the parking lot. I don't know if you guys want to see it.
We have them in the,
It's updated.
oh, since that one?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to see it? Otherwise, I'll send it to you tomorrow.
I was supposed to make it on my iPad, but the Apple Pencil I brought doesn't link up with my iPad, so I made that one.
No worries.
But generally, you know, we haven't had a problem during Music Fest, and my idea is it's a pretty same setup for us in our parking lot that we're going to do for St. Patrick's Day. The beer truck's going to be in the same spot. We're going to have one extra tent. And
Amplified music, 1 to 8:30, right?
yeah, 1 to 8:30. We in our special use permit, we're allowed up till 10, I believe. So this is actually going to be less than that. If the weather's bad, we're going to obviously move it inside. From what I've heard from the bands that we are having, they're not really like these rock star bands that are blowing it out of the water. Yeah, I did have a meeting with Pat and Maureen. Yeah, we had a department meeting on Friday, and we did talk about having the snow fencing to block off from the tree over to the fence, so it kind of gives it that whole side of the parking lot some secludity. So, you know, I don't know. I'm willing to abide by whatever you guys, you know, ask for. I don't see it being an issue. I've seen this at Ebenezer Ale House before. It's kind of, I used to help them out there. Same kind of concept, parking lot type tents, some music. It'd probably be the first beer tent of the year. So I don't know. That's kind of the way I'm marketing it, I guess.
Just plastic cups and cans. You're going to have recycle bins.
Yeah, we're gonna have recycling bins. We talked about that. We did that the same thing for Music Fest. Our cleanup was probably the easiest for any place as far as being a big parking lot. We had recycle bins out everywhere. I still have all the extra ones. So I don't see it being we're going to clean up that night, and the tents will be taken down the next morning.
Very good.
I think it's awesome. I just want to make sure that you were going to have enough parking for people to get to you.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about them. That's
That's
great.
It's
Probably better that they walk down there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well, right, and
No, for sure. And as somebody who's played in that tournament and then ended up at Riley Street, I totally get it.
Sure, yeah, right. My envision for this is to see how this goes. I mean, I'd love to possibly make this into maybe someday down the road to do some sort of like mini parade down Riley Street, just maybe start on one end and I know we might possibly have access to that parking lot down the road on the other side of the rink. If they don't, I don't know, these are just kind of like my envisions, but
Sure.
just to kind of like bring some more life to this time of year where business is a little bit slower and definitely would help us out. I don't know.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, guys.
Chief, your thoughts?
The group of us met, requested he come in and meet with us just so we could talk about the inaugural event, and I think everybody left comfortable with how it's going to be planned and carried out, and I don't foresee any issues.
Very good. Anything else from the board?
It doesn't take up much of the parking lot. I mean, that part of the parking
I'm
lot
sorry.
only holds a few cars.
We have to leave the door open.
Door open.
Got to stay open.
It's like a legal thing.
Open meetings law.
Thanks, Kurt. Steve, you're saying?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it doesn't take up many parking spots, and, I have no issue. And I think there's plenty of parking down on the other end opposite of the rink anyway, for that big parking lot they have.
Sure. Sounds like a fun idea. All right, any other discussion from the board? Moved by Steve, second by Ernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to consider referring a special use permit application to the Planning Commission for Aaron Redding and Zachary Goodrich at 533 Prospect Ave for a detached garage ADU?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? Sent to the PC. Can I get a motion to consider approving a temporary use permit for the Bunny Hop 5K Rotary Club applicant Sean Cunningham for April 4th, 2026, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
So move. So move.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion? Always a great event. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? And can I get a motion to consider approving a temporary use permit at Hamlin Park for the Kiwanis Club of East Aurora for a chicken barbecue applicant Sean Cunningham, June 3rd, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? Another excellent event. I never miss it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I even went when they had that Canadian smoke issue, remember? They had to carry it way down. I still stuck it out. Congrats, Sean. Can I get a motion to consider approving budget adjustments for the 25-26 fiscal year?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to consider appointing the following to the position of part-time public safety dispatchers pending a successful background check, including Ian Schrader, 296 Parkdale, Caitlin Keller, 6350 Seneca Street, and Shelby Smith, 43 South Ellington Avenue, if everyone's comfortable with doing them all together.
Motion. I'll make a motion.
Moved by Jeff, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion, Pat? Anything you want to add?
So we've lost a few part-timers this year. One went, she took a full-time position with the sheriff's office. Another, it was already a full-timer over in Wyoming County and just decided it was too much. And so we needed to fill some positions. We interviewed about 20 people and narrowed it down to 3 offers. And one of the 3 joined us tonight. She wanted to be here, and we were happy to have her. So Caitlin Keller is in the audience, and I support the appointment of the 3 of them.
Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully you won't be disappointed after this vote.
Should we take them separately?
All right, thanks, Chief. Moved by Jeff, second by Steve. Any other discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you and congratulations. Looking forward to working with you. No old business, moving on to new business. Your standard 30-day liquor notice for the nail salon at 134 Gray Street. Maureen, do you have an issue? Does anyone have an issue with that?
We actually have questions about it. Did the person by any chance show up, the
Is
applicant?
the applicant here? No?
No? Okay, we did let them know we were going to be talking about it. So it says it's for a tavern, the way that it's filled out, and it's for liquor, and it kind of talked about music and stuff. So at first when I got it, I just thought it was somebody who wanted to serve like a glass of champagne or wine to somebody getting their nails done. I don't know if that's the case, so I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I had the same question.
But I don't know if we have a problem with the place, but I'm like, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well,
That's what I said to my wife when I read that. I'm like, you guys get booze when you get your nails
Oh,
done?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what
Pedicure
I-
places, they bring them out. They even have beer, Steve.
Jeez, I might change my mind
Yep.
on that.
You love a good mimosa.
Hair places too.
Saying. I am hesitant to take off my shoes. No.
But now this is the SLA looking to see if we have any concern.
Yeah, it's the SLA seeing if you guys have any concerns. So you just need to let me know if you have concerns. My concern was that I just didn't understand the application.
So should we,
Can we get answers to the? our
should we get
questions?
some questions to you to get to the applicant before we tell the state we don't have an issue with it? In case we do?
I can call them.
Everybody want to send their issues over to Maureen and she'll compile them? Their questions?
Varnished? Is that what this is?
It's varnished, yeah.
Okay, okay, it didn't say a name, so I didn't know. I was just trying to think of which one it was. We haven't been made aware of anything. Sometimes the SLA will reach out to us if they're going to issue a liquor license someplace.
Yeah, it does say under extended food service, it says liquor, wine, beer, and cider. And then under food service, it says menu meets legal minimum food requirements, food prep area required, and type of establishment, bar/tavern,
See?
including a
Yeah.
disc jockey and recorded music. Liz, do you want to
And
weigh in?
karaoke.
They're going to need a special use permit for all of that.
Yeah, that's nice.
At least I didn't check topless entertainment
Sounds like
or
it's a
exotic
bar.
dancing.
It sounds like it's a bar with, you can get your nails done or not.
A nail bar.
Nail bar.
Very different than the current varnished.
It's different from it's different enough from the current varnish that they're going to need a special use permit for all of those activities. Yeah,
All right.
because they don't currently serve food. I'm interested in learning how the health department's going to
I'm working on
combine those two uses in the same facility. Yeah, so they're going to need a special use permit.
I'm thinking what it's
Thank you, Liz.
Doesn't really.
smelling.
All right, so we're going to get that over to the applicant. Last speakers and communications. Anybody want to speak on any topic? This is your last chance.
Kurt Colopy, 365 South Grove. Again, remembering ancient history 10 years ago. Ernie, thank you for what you did for the Price House. I remember that Mark Warner was the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission at that point. And Mark's motto in terms of dealing with these types of issues is the HPC leads the willing. And everything that's happened in the last 10 years with regard to historic preservation has pretty much been, voluntary type things. We've gotten 10 years without running into, something that was serious enough in terms, and I'm speaking of preserving the Stonegate Mansion, that we've had to essentially break away from Mark's motto for us, okay, and try to oppose the owner's wishes, if you will. But it's not even clear that that's the case now. the one gentleman who had said he was chair of the condominium association for 6 years gave us the vote, okay? And I didn't copy down the numbers, but it surely didn't sound like a unanimous vote in either direction. And somebody else over here said that, and I don't know if this is the case, it's maybe something that our lawyer looks into, or gets to review what the condominium association rules are, but somebody said if there's one objection, then they can't demolish it or can't change it. When the people buy their condominium in that group or in that property, they are buying essentially a piece of all the common property in the condominium, their facilities, okay? They have their own unit, but they have a piece of the rest of the common space there. So it's not clear that even it's a totally involuntary. There's some concern about the whole project. There should be. And I appreciate what the board did tonight in terms of just giving us all some time to think about it. Okay, and that includes people on either side of the equation. So thank you. Thank you, Ernie.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kurt. Anyone else want to speak on any topic? Okay, closing our second speakers in communications. Caitlin, unless you wanted to get up and talk about anything in particular, just whatever's on your mind here. That's all right. You good? Okay. Moving on to department head report. Patrick?
This is our quiet time of year. We don't like to say that word, but it's been very cold, so we're more reactive this time of year than proactive, just by way of the large snow banks and cold temperatures. Right now, we're working on a lot of annual trainings that are mandatory either through our carriers or the state or wherever it may be. We did have a minor, if you will, police car accident, no injury. One of my officers was responding to a EMS call and kind of spun out and hit somebody's mailbox, but he's okay. And lastly, next to the Sharps depository in the lobby of the police department, there's now a medication drop-off as well. So that's about all I have.
Very good. Thanks, Chief. Jeffrey?
Yeah, it's been a busy 2 weeks for us with the snow and cold. We're starting to get water leaks now. We had one this weekend. The new sidewalk plow has been a great addition. We were able to get, I had both sidewalk plows out. We were able to get the whole village in less than 2 days. So that was huge. We're good on salt. We've cut back a little bit this year, but we got plenty in stock. I just got deliveries this past week, so there's no issue there. Other than that, that's it.
I have a question from one resident that every year pulls me aside and says, cinders, no salt, why don't we do cinders? Is there any logic or reason?
Plugs up the storm.
Yeah, plugs up our storm sewer.
Gotcha. Fair enough, I'll tell them that.
If we had ditches, we could do it all day long, but
Well, that's what he was comparing it to Colorado, probably rural, where they have mountain roads and ditches, not sewers, so.
That's why it costs more to maintain village streets than it does town streets, because we have so much infrastructure
sewer.
under there, all kinds of maintenance
Gotcha.
things. And
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Liz?
Nothing tonight.
All right, Shane?
all set tonight.
All right, Maureen? You got some updates for us? I know you do.
Yes, I have lots of them. Shane and I met with Pesh, who did a walkthrough, and we're all good. We had our Pesh public employer safety.
Yeah,
State version of OSHA.
Thank you.
That thing, I was,
Public employee safety.
yeah, give that.
I was gonna
something
ask.
critical.
Yeah. So they came, there was one form they wanted us to separate out at every building instead of having it all on one form. We separated it, rehung it, and are all set with that. So that was really good. Our new Facebook account is up, and you can friend it. If you can't find it, because some doesn't pop up easily, if you go to the police department page, you'll see that they shared one of our posts, and I think once people start liking it, it'll pop up easier. So it is called Village of East Aurora. It has the village logo on it, and the top is the trees at Hamlin Park. We were notified that the waste management mailer that they sent out for the garbage pickup had the recycling incorrect on the mailer. We contacted Waste Management. They apologized and said they're mailing a mailer to the residents with the correction. That was put on our website as well as on the Facebook and been sent out. We do have copies at Village Hall if anybody needs them. And I've been interviewing for my part-time clerk.
How's that going?
It's going.
So you're able to keep ahead of the workload until you get a person in there?
Yeah, the clerks have all been chipping in, doing pieces of the accounts payable. You know, some stuff can wait until we have a person in place, but on the most part, the accounts payable is getting done.
Very good, very good, very good. Thanks, Maureen. Grace?
I just want to say, great job, Jeff, and your crew, the DPW. That storm kept coming, and you guys kept right up with it. It's great. That's it.
Well said. Seriously. They're up for the task. I know, Jeff, you had teams starting at 4 a.m. and
Yeah, we worked on
whenever,
pretty much through.
whenever it needed to be done.
You guys did a great
go out
job.
there.
Kept up with it.
Oh, wait, I have one.
Yeah.
The big snow pile in front of McDonald's between the laundromat and that, do you guys clear that snow out, or is it the state do that? It's just so tall to see,
Oh, yeah, the state usually takes care of
see
that.
past
Yep.
it. That one's really tall.
Yeah, I'll make a call. I think they actually got some today. Maybe.
I wasn't down there today, but yesterday I went by it.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Anything else, Grace?
Nope.
Jeffrey?
All good, thank you.
Ernie?
My travels walking around the village, a number of compliments about the new sidewalk plow. Someone was especially happy that he doesn't blow anything in the driveway. You know, he's very careful about it. And I had several people compliment whoever it is driving that particular sidewalk plow. He's doing a great job. I thought I'd pass it on, so let them know. It's appreciated. That's it.
Thank you, Ernie. Kristen?
Just a reminder, we've got our budget meeting coming up on Saturday morning. Everybody's welcome. Come watch us go through line by line for 4 hours.
Parks Committee, too, I forgot.
Is that at 8:30?
It's a spectator sport.
8:30 was.
8:30 this Saturday
Yep.
in this room.
Yeah, come on up.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Steve?
Yeah, thanks again, Jeff. You guys did a great job, except, my driveway wasn't done, but that's all right.
Excuse me?
No, Jeff, different Jeff was very kind. My blower was down and he cleared out
Well,
my driveway.
I took care of Karen's driveway.
Yes, I have 2 driveways and my wife's got done. So thank you. Other than that, we have a Parks Committee meeting this Wednesday, 7 o'clock, that room right over there. Feel free to stop by, and that's Wednesday, February 4th.
At 4.
That's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, again, echoing the thanks for the DPW. And I appreciate the police and the fire department and the village office as well, but in a storm and this long cold front we have, I think Jeff and his crew have really stepped up. And our capital plan, right, is part of why we have that new sidewalk plow that everybody's enamored with. I love watching that thing go by. That's great. So, thank you, guys. I know Jeff and I talked about it. It's in a long, sustained cold front like this, it doesn't hurt to maybe let your water drip a little bit at night, just to make sure it keeps moving, or if you're gonna be away for a while, make sure your pipes don't freeze up between the mains and the street and the houses. I remember, I don't know, it's probably 10 years ago when we had that 5-degree, sub-5-degree weather for about 6 weeks, and we had all those ice dams on the roofs. Everybody remembers that? So hopefully we get out of this within the next week or so, but it's, causing problems and hardships. So be aware, you leave your pipes leaking, not leaking, but dripping maybe at night. It might help you avoid any frozen pipes if that's an issue for you in your house. Also looking forward to the spring. I'd like to see some sidewalks on the north side of South Street. I know that there are no sidewalks on either side by Center Street of South because of the drop-off on the south side of South. So the north side of South, we'd like to put some sidewalks in there for I think it's maybe 10, 12 houses, but that's basically for all the residents who want to get over to the field to glean and that kind of thing, kids. That'll keep them out of harm's way. And as well as we're looking at Buffalo Road, the west side of Buffalo Road, there is no sidewalk for like the last 3 houses to the park. It's my understanding years ago, before it was a park, when they put the sidewalks in, those residents were like, we don't want sidewalks. And it didn't lead anywhere anyway, so, because it was all private property, it was the Knox property. So they didn't extend the sidewalks all the way to the end, so we're gonna have Jeff take a look and see what's involved with adding sidewalks to that spot as well. That's all I have, except I would like to, people have been asking me, I am announcing my candidacy for re-election for mayor. You guys know, I mean, I've been on this board long enough. The village is just an amazing place. I love it. And I'm not in any political party. I don't have political aspirations past this. I just do it because I love the village. It's a labor of love. And I'm just thankful to have the trust of the residents to this point, so.
I would echo the same sentiments. I'm running for re-election, and it's been an honor to be on the board. I've enjoyed it immensely, and I'd like to continue to serve the community.
Very good. With that said, can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:20?
May I make one more?
Oh, yeah, please.
You sparked something in my head when you mentioned Knox Park and the sidewalks leading up to it. Right at that stretch, too, is where the beginning of the deterioration of that stone wall. And that stone wall is abysmal, and we've been told that the state has money and it plans to do that. I would like to look into, and I don't know who would look into it, whether one of the trustees or Shane or Maureen would, but inquire to, is it on schedule? Is it reality? Also, there's 2 farmhand houses that are further up the road, probably in the town portion. However, they also are going to be demoed by neglect if something doesn't happen soon. 1 farmhouse is gone. As I already mentioned, I've been in this town all except 3 years of my life, and then I went to college and then came back. But that was my stomping ground. I knew the families that lived in those houses. I would like to be proactive before that becomes an issue where it's too late. And I don't know how to get it started, but
Yeah, those.
I would like to sit down, have a cup of coffee. If you have any ideas, you mentioned in the past that you may. So, thank you. And that's it.
Very good. Watching that wall deteriorate, I reached out, my daughters both went to Geneseo, and they have kind of a similar situation in Geneseo where they have a family, kind of an old money family. What is it?
The Wadsworths.
The Wadsworths, right? And they have a property on each end of the village. But on the east end of the village, there's a long stone wall that stretched all along that fell down, was dilapidated over the century probably. And so I called and asked, I noticed it was being rebuilt, and I called and asked, and they said it was just a private group of volunteers that had started to raise money for it, and then they were restoring the wall bit by bit, and they're done, and it looks great. And I know that, from what I understand, there was a, I guess, a state politician, I don't remember what his name was, but just before he left office, he gave, or earmarked $500,000, I think, for wall restoration to the folks at the Knox property. The Friends of Knox, maybe.
The state or the Friends?
I think he gave, well, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. It was it York? Is it Kathleen York?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kathleen York reached out to me and asked about the Roycroft wall and said that they had been earmarked to receive $500,000 towards wall
Kathleen
restoration.
York is Friends of.
Friends of.
Friends
yeah.
of Knox, yeah.
I spoke
Do you
to
have contact info for her?
I talked to a mason about that wall, and he had a whole list of reasons why why the wall continues to fail.
Wow.
And apparently, there's a whole, like, a lot of it's buried. I mean, over the years, dirt has blown up against it from plows and whatever, and he said there's a whole litany of reasons why they fix it, they put it back together, and then it comes apart again.
Well, is there a footer,
Well,
like you
I-
wonder
he-
how
I-
it was done, right,
it was-
back
it
then?
was-
Those look like just river rocks.
But he says there's a
There's a
reason why
pattern,
they.
there's a distinct pattern to that layout.
But the Roycroft rocks are cut, you know what I mean? And these look like they're stacked and mortared together.
Correct.
Yeah, so, yeah. So good call, Steve. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:26 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate all the feedback and input.